I say in The Wire, you come at the king, you best not miss.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Down in the box, Chris Young, Mark Dodson, Jeremy Nordquist, and yours truly, Tom Crawford here. Kind of a unique broadcast. We're not from the Michigan Athletic Club. Jeremy's down in Venice Beach, Florida. We try to get him on StreamYard here, which is our platform. But too much, I don't know, too much seagull traffic or something going on. I don't know what the cause was, but we're just going to bring him in from an audio standpoint as he strolls through the 82-degree weather in Florida. Touche from him to us as we're sitting here in snow-driven mid-Michigan. Anyway, we're talking about what happened on Tuesday night at the Chrysler Center. Michigan, a 75-73 victor over the Purdue Boilermakers. Now the Wolverines are sitting all by them lonesome up there at the top of the Big Ten. And 18 wins overall. I think safe to say they are securely in the big dance, which was my biggest priority. And that was a heck of a win. I mean, that's 5 in a row for the Wolverines. And they like to do it the hard way, take your heart, the heartbeat up a few notches. And man, a couple missed free throws, and Braden Smith was going for a juggernaut three, a rolling three that you could just visualize it going in, Chris, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you really could. I mean,
banking in. I'm thinking it was going to bank in.
Yeah, I thought it was going to bank in also. And with the two that he had just hit before that, it's like, that third one's going in.
Yeah.
Just the type of player he is and the type of game it was.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Mark, what was your reaction? I mean, you were surprised that Michigan won because I think Purdue's really good. And, you and I may be a little bit more skeptical than the other two about the Wolverines this year.
Well, hold on, man. I'm not going to agree with your narrative.
Of course not.
All right. So let's get that out. All that trying to lump me in with you.
Okay. You've been, okay. I'm going to read some. I'm going to some text messages from you to me.
Yeah.
During the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they're playing like crap. Yeah. And or when they're playing well. But anyway,
wait, hold it. Can I just interject that, because I got to defend you have a lot of negativity. I mean, I hear things like, man, we are soft. They're just soft. We're dumb. We're not a very smart basketball. I get a lot of that.
Man, we aren't a very smart basketball team.
Okay.
But there
you go.
I'm still rooting for them. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, no.
Wait.
No, we want Michigan to win. I'm not saying that.
Do you think we're a smart basketball team?
Sometimes not. I think we make some bad decisions here and there, but I think, and I talked to Will Cheddar about this. They're getting more physical, and Dusty took the blame on himself. He said he underestimated this summer of not preparing his team for the physicality. So
I didn't take that to mean anything.
Of course you didn't. But
I didn't. No, that man, come on, man. You playing? You coming into this league. Your guys are just soft. Dusty is trying to cover for them. You can't all of a sudden become a physical. You can't light switch physicality.
He know that. Let me finish my statement, and then you can chime in.
All right.
He made the statement. It was off my question about the increments of increased physicality, and so he talked about it in the summertime. It was more finesse, not working on the physical. He underestimated the physicality of the Big Ten, according to him. And then when he started formal workouts in October, Will's out there beating the shit out of everybody, and everybody is pissed at him. Everybody wants to square up with Will, okay? And actually what it sounded like to me is that Dusty had Will back off when he should have said, no, that's the way it is. Mm-hmm. And that's what he admitted, pointing the finger at himself.
Yeah, okay. Okay. And y'all said, okay, Dusty, that's a good answer.
I'm not trying to evaluate answers. We're trying to evaluate.
I'm just saying that was his answer to that question was the PC answer. you don't explain your explanation for why your team is not tough is because you didn't impose toughness on them earlier.
Yeah.
Is that what he's saying? Come on, man.
That's what he's saying.
Okay. All right. Let's just keep it moving.
Okay, Jeremy wants to chime in here. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, here's the thing. Dot, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying too, TC. But the problem is that do you ever think that it is Dusty May's first year? Maybe he thought, like, listen, these kids are beating the shit out of each other. Like, I don't want this to happen. But you know what? As Chris can attest to, the Big Ten has always and will always be different. I mean, it's different. When you watch how a game's called in the MAC or you watch a Big Ten game, like, it's just different. And you got different bodies, you got different dudes. So maybe Dusty, maybe he's actually being, like, real honest and genuine. Like, I didn't really realize it was going to be this damn physical or this damn violent. And maybe he's being honest. I mean, I'm just being kind of not the devil's advocate, but I'm like, maybe he actually didn't realize it didn't go that hard.
What did not go that hard? And so he decided to go hard when?
They've had increased what they've had.
Yeah, it's got to be in the last 3-4 weeks that they've picked it up.
I sent you the Will quote. It was increment after the game, the debacle at Mackey Arena. They had, and Ruben talked about this when I had talked to him that before the I think it was the Penn State game, that practice was different. I mean, they went real physical on that Saturday and Sunday practice between Purdue and Penn State, right? The Purdue game was Friday night, Penn State was Monday night. Okay. So that was a big jump up. And then it's been a point of emphasis every practice. And Will talked about you just can't turn the switch on. You have to, and it's putting your chest, when on the driver. We talked about that, about boxing out, all the stuff that we were all taught playing basketball growing up about being physical.
That's fundamental basketball, man.
Well, whatever. It's working. I think it's working.
I don't think so. Wait. Just based on one game?
I didn't say that. I said
it's based on the last 5, Dot. They won the last 5 in a row.
Last 5.
It's showing the toughness that they can win games. They can beat a really good Purdue team at home. They can win games on the road that, a month and a half ago, I don't know that they would have won some of those games. Because the way that they were playing. They lost. It's not that they were playing soft, but they weren't playing up to the level of the physicalness of all the other Big Ten teams. I mean, if you go back and you watch, and using Izzo as an example for the last 30 years, you watch the way that Michigan State UCLA game was played, and then the Michigan State Indiana game. I mean, that was a freaking wrestling match. That looked like Big Ten basketball from the 90s. And if Michigan doesn't come with that same intensity, first against Ohio State on Sunday, and then against Sparty on Friday, I mean, it's going to be ugly because Michigan State is just a physically tougher team than most of the teams in the Big Ten, and they're just going to try and bully Michigan around.
Jeremy, why don't you chime in your thoughts from Jeremy on this topic of and then your overall impression, Jeremy, of this Michigan team? Because actually, you've been pretty bullish on Michigan.
Well, I am in shock that they've I would agree with what Dot says fundamentally as far as they were soft, but they have increased. I don't know if it's hard for me to say. I don't know if they've increased their physicality or they're just playing better, closing better, but they always seem to be there in the end, and now they're winning these games. And we went from I've gotten to know my boy Dot in the last 6 months, so I can say this. I think at this point, Dot, they're comfortably an NCAA tournament team. They're not going to make the NIT.
No.
Yeah, I haven't waited.
I also think that they're gonna end up. They're trying to mess around a little bit, and they might get you might be looking at a 3-4 seed at this point.
That's definitely a possibility. I haven't weighed in on their NCAA chances. I don't know enough about the field and that kind of stuff to be able to speak to how many Big Ten teams are getting out, how many other teams from other conferences are getting out. I just haven't weighed in on that. because I don't know it like that. And there are too many things still in play. They are legitimately in position to win this conference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, look at those schedules. Those schedules are brutal. I mean, Michigan State schedule is brutal. You got to go at Illinois, you got to go at Oklahoma, Purdue, and then you got Michigan on the road, you got Maryland on the road, you got Michigan at home. I mean, that was a backloaded schedule. Izzo actually acknowledged that to the media, like 9-0, but hey, look at our schedule in the back end. Michigan's got a lot of tough games. I mean, they got Maryland at home. That will be tough. The students won't be. Hey man, they'll be back from spring break, but I mean, there's a lot of variables involved in some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Every game they got left is Nebraska on the road is tough.
Yeah. Rutgers at
home might be the breather.
There is such a thing. That's the breather. And then Purdue, when Michigan plays Michigan State in East Lansing on March 9th, that's the same day Purdue goes to Illinois. And Illinois is a freak show. You don't know. It's like
you never know what you're getting with them. Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to get.
Yep.
The Michigan State game will be a direct challenge to the manhood.
Oh, I agree.
Yes.
That's
absolutely.
A strong statement. That's an accurate statement. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah. That's going to be.
But we still don't box out worth shit.
No.
You talking about all this light switch toughness? We still don't box out worth nothing. We don't stay in front of. We don't. Did you just see how easily Purdue was getting shots that game until they went to the zone?
Yep.
We don't. It's all, bless Dusty's heart, but they don't physically check anybody. Nobody.
Nope.
And you know what? Beeline had to adjust to that too, because Beeline, Painter said something many years ago that I took to Beeline as a criticism. He said, we want to defend. He said, we want to be physical without fouling. And he said it again in this game, physical without fouling. And I kept thinking, wow, what a concept. John Beeline doesn't want to be physical at all. He's not even to the point of even trying to push the envelope to being physical. He don't want to foul. All right. So he's not gonna test that. Yeah. Chris and Jeremy, I'll start with what obviously to me is a deficiency or a flaw in this defensive philosophically. Why is Wolf so often checking a wing?
Because they switch everything all the time.
They switch all the time.
Everything. They pre-switch everything. That's why.
They pre-switch. They're switching without even needing to
That's
switch.
what I'm saying. They're pre-switching. As soon as there's a cut or something like that, if you're on the weak side and you're guarding someone on the wing and he switches with the guy in the corner, you just stay. It's pre-switching. It's a very for a defender, it's a very easy way to play defense.
Yeah.
It's a very easy way. If you're pre-switching, you don't have to fight over screens. You don't have to fight around screens. Yeah. You just, the next guy's standing here. Okay, you take him and I got him. It's a very, very easy way.
They're pre-switching. I mean, Ruben did it with Danny. They're pre-switching about 6-8 feet before they even.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's too calculated. I mean, it's like, and then there's gaps.
Yep.
And then Braden Smith, all of a sudden Braden Smith's open for that, that baseline kick, that little fadeaway kick. He's got that sucker down to a sign.
Yeah, that little 15-footer. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, what? How can you? What? Because you're so focused on switching, and the dude's wide open.
Yep.
And you better believe that every time Braden saw Danny on him, he said, "Oh yeah, this is."
Well, he knocked him off his feet. He broke his ankle on that one.
Yeah. And then he got that first three that Braden Smith hit. He made it over Cheddar because it was the same thing.
Yeah.
He saw that pre-switch coming, and he went right back at Cheddar, took 2 steps back, shook him a little bit, and pulled up from 3. And God bless Cheese that he had no chance of getting anywhere near that shot.
And that's kind of my point.
My defensive philosophy is you switch when you have to. You don't just pre-switch. If the screen is 4 feet outside the 3-point line, and the guard's going to run into it. No, you fight over top of it and you just get there. The other guy just helps. You don't just switch it just because.
Okay, I want to ask Jeremy about Braden Smith. 6 foot, $175 NBA player.
Unfortunately, I'd say no. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I think but the problem is he's by far, and it's not close. He's the best point guard in America by far.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
By
100%.
It's
Yeah.
I hope he finds his way on an NBA roster because he's that much of a dog.
Hey, if he was 6'4", he'd be up for Player of the Year.
Yeah, but he's not.
But he's not, and that's the only drawback to him. If he was 6'4", he'd be on an NBA roster for sure. But at 6 foot, maybe.
I think he's still up, Chris. There were people talking about him. It looks like it's going to be either him or Flag. Who else would be in competition?
Broom from Auburn.
Auburn, the dude from Auburn, yeah.
Yeah,
he might be in contention, but I mean, he's not. He's maybe a top 10 guy in the country. Like he's not a number one guy. That's just not how it goes. But I mean, I could see him fitting in the NBA in like a Chris Paul type role, something like that, where you can score if you need him to, he can facilitate and all that. But him being able to stay in front of anybody, that's not in the cards.
Yeah, but I think without a doubt he's first team All-American. That's what I'm getting.
100%. Yes, 100%.
I thought we were talking about Player of the Year. Yeah, I think without a doubt he's first team All-American. And you know what? Now I know some of this is based on the way Michigan plays. And I remember seeing him play as a freshman and then as a sophomore in the tournament when he was being checked by pit bull defenders.
Mm-hmm.
They made him real nervous.
Mm-hmm. Especially his freshman year. He was
a chump.
Yep.
Against Michigan, he's out there. I run this. I got you on my hip. You can't do nothing with me.
The way he walked. I mean, I kept my eye on him. The way he just walks and his confidence level
his swagger,
flowing.
Yeah.
I've never seen a dude like. I mean, I've never seen. Hey, I want to switch, Jeremy, real quick. Michigan State. I mean, driving home and I'm listening to Spartans, and my guy IU throws his zone, and all of a sudden Michigan State, basically, folds like a cheap tent, and now they're one game behind the Wolverines. I mean, what would you do, Jeremy, if you were coaching against that zone?
I mean, if you can't shoot the ball, it's kind of hard to coach. Say do this, because Michigan State has a fatal flaw of shooting the ball. They cannot shoot the ball.
They cannot shoot the mid range because you put a guy in the middle of the zone. That's a vulnerable spot.
What Michigan State's got to do against the zone, and I hope Michigan plays a fair amount of zone against them. They got to put Fiddler at that high post.
Yeah,
they can't have Kohler there. They can't have Cooper there. They can't even have Booker there. It's got to be Fiddler there because he can shoot that thing a little bit, but he can pass it enough to make the other guys, a little bit of a threat. But if Cooper gets it up there or Kohler gets it up there, man, if I'm the big guy standing in the middle of that zone, and they catch it, shoot it. That's a win for the defense.
Right. And although usually I always agree with CY, I don't necessarily. I'm like Fiddler's 6'5". Like he's still got to shoot over 7 foot at that point. That's another thing about like Big Ten. It's just different. Like he's got to shoot over a guy that's 7 inches taller than him. Even if it's from the mid post or 15 feet, he's still got that long ass arm coming out and contesting.
Yep. But that's the only way that they're going to ever beat a zone is with him up there, because the other guys are just they don't know what they're doing. They can't facilitate the offense, because when you're playing that high post against any type of a 2-3 or junk zone defense, it's not the point guard that runs the show. It's the guy at the high post that runs the show against that offense. And if you can't even catch the ball and do an invert pivot and look at the rim and maybe drop it off to a big down low or kick it to someone in the corner or something, or take that shot, you got no chance of breaking that zone.
Okay, Mark Dodson.
Can I
go
say
ahead.
one more thing about Michigan State?
Yeah, go ahead.
That makes me almost. I don't want to bag on Michigan State.
Go ahead.
How about Tom Izzo starting Jeremy Fears or whatever in front of Trey Holloway?
Trey Holloway
has been my pick to click all year long. He sits Trey Holloway. How? How in that game do you sit? How do you start Jeremy Fears over Trey Holloway? Can anybody explain that to me? Anybody?
No. That's one of those Izzo things where he thinks he knows more than everybody else, and Holloway must have just pissed him off just a little bit, and he's like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Maybe this will light a fire under the guy.
Yeah, but it might be kind of what you remember what how Dusty tried to explain playing Ruben over
Roddy.
He said, I need a spark off the bench. So maybe he's saying,
yeah. You're getting the same amount of minutes. Roddy gets many minutes from off the bench as he did as a starter.
And Holloman plays a lot for Michigan State eventually.
Holloman plays a lot.
That might be his explanation. Who knows? Who knows what the chemistry is? And you got to think chemistry. He has been committed to Fierce since high school.
Yeah.
And there's something. There must be something going on in practice. Maybe he likes it. He must be a tough dude. But Holloman's tough too, so that won't necessarily explain it. Did Richardson start against Indiana?
Yeah. He had 30 the game before, and I mean, you can't you say, listen, we can't sit this dude anymore. I mean, he's always been.
But he was getting 25, 30 minutes anyway. I mean, it's all about the minutes.
Now, it doesn't matter. It's never mattered who starts the game. It's all matter who's on the floor the last 5 minutes.
Okay, I want to segue, Dotman. First, Ohio State, Michigan State. Is that a Wolverine sweep? Would you take a split? Would you be happy with a split? How do you think that's going to play out?
Is it going to be a Wolverine sweep?
Split, or would they drop 2? And they could play well and actually drop 2, playing well. Because
to Michigan State?
Yeah,
Michigan State's at home, right?
Yeah. So it's Ohio State Sunday at 1 o'clock, and then Friday night on Fox, Michigan State at Michigan. Okay, those are your next 2 games. What happened?
I got to think they're going to beat Michigan State.
Okay, so how about?
I don't know much. Yeah, I'll defer to y'all. Sometimes I see people refer to Ohio State as being talented, and then I see Ohio State. Then I see Ohio State losing. So I'll let you guys tell me what you think about Ohio State, and then I'll come back and answer.
Okay, Chris, what's your impression? What do you think about
I think Michigan, if they come in and play the way they've been progressively playing and keep the same routine up of, just increasing this little bit of physical play, taking a little bit better care of the ball, I don't see any reason why they can't go in and beat Ohio State. Yeah, Ohio State is a talented team. They've got some ability. We saw what they did to Purdue early in the Big Ten season. They blew Purdue out. They've got some ability. They've got some talented players, but I think we're just an overall better team if we show up, if we pack our stuff and we travel down to Columbus and do what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. How about you?
And that's all about prepping for Michigan State.
I
Yeah.
guess I'm bullish on Michigan. Michigan wins. I was wrong on the Purdue game. I think Michigan ends up winning the 22 games of the year.
Wow. I mean, you think you think they're going to win the Big Ten title? What, with maybe 4 losses, 3 losses, somewhere in that?
Well, I didn't think they were winning the Big Ten title before, but obviously now, with how I see it, I see Michigan winning the Big Ten title, and it's going to be sad because then Dusty May is going to go to Indiana, and that's going to kill you guys.
Okay. I didn't realize that we invited Dan Dockets to the podcast.
I know, right? God Almighty.
How you doing, Dano? Didn't know you were masquerading as Jeremy Nordquist here.
No, I mean, listen, Michigan's good. Michigan's a good team. Yes, I agree with Doc. They've got a lot of defensive deficiencies, but they are a good team. I mean, you could go every team in the nation besides Alabama and Duke, and you could go. They got this deficiency, this
Auburn,
deficiency, and this deficiency. Yeah. And so, I mean, I think Michigan's a good team, especially for getting all those boys to play together. Year 1 for Dusty May. Kudos to Dusty May, by the way.
Yeah. He deserves a lot of credit for that. I still don't. Y'all didn't give me enough to give me a feel for Ohio State. I'm looking at their schedule. They won some big games. They beat some good teams. They've lost,
but then they lay eggs too. Then they lose games. Right. It's how do they lose those? But Michigan did the same thing going up to Minnesota. I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, Ohio State's a good team. Are they an NCAA tournament team? Probably not, but maybe.
What's their record? What's their record?
They're 15-10 and overall 7-7 in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the hunt.
Right.
They're in the hunt.
Yeah, they're in the. I mean,
They could really use this win over Michigan.
oh yeah, this is a make or break for them for sure.
All right, LJ. When we're going to talk about LJ,
well, we started to, but what
that was the last. That wasn't this section.
That was the first incarnation of this.
That was phase 1. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think LJ Cason's got to play. I think he's got to get in there, and you got to give him 8 to 10 minutes. And if he's performing and playing and doing what he's supposed to do, like, why not give him 15 minutes?
What do you think, Don?
Hey man, I don't know. The dude. You know how many DNPs, CDs he's had this year? A bunch of them. I don't know. At one time, I thought he was hurt.
Yeah,
I didn't do.
Well, then I thought he was gonna redshirt.
Yeah, that's
redshirt because he just wasn't playing.
That's the mystery. Pippen.
Well, no, he played. No, actually, he played defense against Braden Smith, and I think he caught him off guard a little. Like, who's this dude? Because he was defending him in a different way.
And he's just so damn long. He's got those long ass arms.
It's like I thought it actually was effective. Quite frankly.
Yep.
All right. There was a question. I think it was the Peacock. No, it might have been BT. It might have been BTN's coverage where they were asking about the Big Ten Player of the Year, and they mentioned Vlad before they mentioned Danny.
No. Would
you agree with that? Who's Michigan's MVP?
I think Danny, because as much as he brings negativity, he brings positivity. I mean, he's just a mixed bag of incredibly good and incredible and sometimes bad. I think he has come out. He is at money time. He delivers. He delivers like nobody else on that team.
Well, they were saying that the top 2 contenders for MVP are Smith and Vlad, and that just made me think about it. Vlad's putting up his stats. I'm
not saying he's not.
Oh yeah, no, he's put up some big numbers. There's no doubt about that.
I would go Danny. Braden Smith is the leader in the clubhouse, in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
right now. I mean, that's just the way it is.
And so you would say Danny is more valuable than Vlad.
I would say so right now, but there's still 7 games to go in the regular season. So I mean, they're both. I mean, it's like 1 and 1A. I mean, and Trey has had some moments of leadership that.
He's carried the offense a number of times too, when no one else is scoring. Like, go get a bucket.
I'm telling you what, Will Cheddar, he's got this glue factor. I mean, he is just the glue guy. Like, I mean, he has that X factor in him of keeping his team together. He is a leader. He's a leader of the team. I mean, that is so blatant. That's so blatant. When you hear Amari Burnett talk about Will, it's like he's like God as far as his leadership skills.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, comes off the bench, leads the team in scoring, 17 points coming off the bench, and it's just like, I just come in and do my job. Like,
How do you think Roddy's going to respond going to Ohio State?
He is going to try and bust their asses. He is going to play so freaking hard on every possession because he knows all those dudes. Like, he knows all the ushers. He knows everybody down there. He is going to play so freaking hard.
Okay, how do you think that's going to go, Jeremy? Roddy Gale going down to play his old team in Columbus. What do you think is going to happen Sunday?
I mean, he's going to be. I mean, the only thing that Michigan fans got to worry about is that being too hyped. Does that make sense? Like,
it makes a lot of sense.
He's going to be ready to go. He's gonna be like, a dog chasing a bone. I would just worry about like, is he just gonna try? How is he gonna play? Obviously, he's gonna play good defensively, but like offensively, is he gonna try to? He's gonna try to be quite like selfish and try to get shots up and try to be like, look what you're missing, or is he just gonna play his game? And his game, to me, is one of like he plays off the guys pretty well.
He's very physical. Yeah, he's physical. He uses hips. He uses his body. Roddy uses his body to drive the ball. He uses his shoulders. He's very cut. He's probably the most buff guy in the team. A team that's not
Oh,
really.
sound like you got a thing for Rodney,
No,
man.
I'm just saying. No, I look at physicality and how someone's structured, and this team is not cut. I mean, they're just not. But
Are you being super critical?
no,
when you
I'm
say
not
that?
being super critical. But I have been critical about of myself of letting. We're at the 30-minute mark, and we're going to have to wrap this up. But,
all right, real quick, we should do this weekly poll until Dusty settles things. All right, today likelihood of Dusty going to Indiana.
20% for me.
0%.
At most.
I'm at zero. I'm at 0.1%.
Yeah, something like that. Like almost 0% chance.
How about you, Jay?
40%.
40. Okay, Dan Dockich.
Yeah, you got to stop gambling, Jay.
Listen, if they back up the Brinks truck, he knows Indiana. I mean, especially if he wins the Big Ten this year, they're just going to back up the Brinks truck.
Okay, $10 million a year? Are you talking $10 million a year, $7 million a year? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about like one of the 5 highest paid coaches in the nation. So what is that?
I think.
Well, yeah, and I mean, another thing we haven't talked about is Dusty's got to be in contention for Coach of the Year.
Oh, he is going to be. I think he is going to be a Big Ten coach.
I mean, he should win Coach of the Year nationally.
Brad Stevens is going to get the first shot at that IU job, I think, and hopefully take it. So we won't have to worry about this shit.
Listen, I've always been on Dusty. I've always been like, I thought he was a good hire. I didn't think Michigan was going to do this.
I didn't either.
I thought they'd be okay, but not.
Yeah, not year one. That's for sure.
Okay, guys, wrapping this up. So you want to go on Monday? Monday after the Ohio State game? Is everybody available?
Yes.
Let's do it.
How about Dot Man? Are you available on Monday?
Probably.
Okay, we'll figure it out. Percentage chance, 20%.
0.1% chance.
I just do 40%.
All right.
There you go.
All right, guys. And try to get a connection on that to bring you into the, your pretty face into the Foursquare here, Jeremy.
When is he back?
But I wanted to get a little bit more tan, boys, to make sure I look good.
Okay. You get tan. Work on that tan, and then we'll jump into squares, and we'll see you next time, people. Down the blocks here in the Crawford Podcasting Network. See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Tom.